Hello, my dear students. Today's lecture will be in tourism infrastructure. It's fifth lecture. It's one of the new and one of the important topics of tourism infrastructure is safety, security, and management, risk management in tourism industry. In today's lecture, firstly, I would like to share what is it security and also what is it risk management and how it's important in tourism infrastructure and what types of risks tourism has nowadays. I would like to share, and at the end of lecture I would like to share with you or introduce the new tendency and challenges and new cases which is related with today's lecture. Purpose of today's lecture to highlight the importance of security, safety, and risk management in tourism infrastructure, and how it's influenced the level of tourists and how it's attract tourism flows in general. By the end of this today's lecture, you can understand the concepts of safety, security, and risk management, and also identify different types of risk management in tourism industry or tourism infrastructure. And in after this lecture you can explain properly different stakeholders' role in security, safety, and risk management. And I think today's lecture will be very interesting. And now let me introduce firstly main ideas of today's lecture. It's safety, security, and risk management. Safety, it's protection from protection different unexpected situation, harm, and accident. It can be depends on that tourism it's related to unexpected situations. That's why it's safety it's very important. And secondly, it's security, protection from also unexpected situation, harm, including crime or terrorism. That also tourism it's related with crime and also terrorism. We cannot avoid for these risks. That's why it's security it's very important to understand properly and organize properly. And to organize this situation very professional, we should understand risk management. Risk management, it means that the process of identifying, assessing or mitigating risks in advance. It means that we should ready to different situation, and to organize it we need risk management. The importance of safety and security in tourism infrastructure, it means that tourists in tourism infrastructure, tourists or locals or tourists in the first place, and also we should safety of tourists is very important. Secondly, safety and security improves destination image and competitiveness. It means that if one tourist destination very safety, security, without crime, without terrorism attacks, it can be convenient for tourists. That's why it can be increase the level of favorable image of tourist destinations. Thirdly, essential for building trust among tourists between investors. It means that very significant for this. And finally, support sustainable tourism development, protecting people, property, and environment, which is also nowadays tendency. What types of risks tourism infrastructure or tourism has nowadays? First, it's natural disaster. We cannot change it, but it can be happen in destination. It's possible. That's why natural disaster it's one of the risk things, but we should also train for them our staffs in accommodation infrastructure, in transport system infrastructure, and also public services too. Also, in addition, crime and personal safety risks. It can be different crime, or like terrorism attack, and also certain terrorism for its technological risks. One of the nowadays global problems or challenges. And fifth, it's political insustainability. It means it's unsustainable situation, which is related with public situation, political situation. It can be also affects to the negatively to the development of tourism infrastructure. Final health risks. It can be, you know, that COVID-19. Risk assessment or management in tourism. What is it? Firstly, risk identification. Risk identification, it means that in advance we should identify different risks of tourism destination, which is related with tourism infrastructure. Secondly, risk analysis. It means that we should evaluate different risks which is related with likelihood and impacts of tourism infrastructure. Thirdly, it's risk mitigation. It means developing strategy to mitigate or minimize or decrease the different risks. Finally, it's risk monitoring. It means that after or before pre-risks, we should monitor, also evaluate, assess different situations for readiness. Crisis and emergency management, what is it? It means that developing crisis response plans. It means that strategy, operations, tactics, service strategies or plans. Secondly, effective communication strategy during the crisis. It means collaboration between stakeholders to mitigate different risks. Thirdly, role of emergency management teams and first response. It means that first aids different level. And finally, recovery and rebuilding strategy after crisis, which is also one of the crisis emergency management aspects. The importance of public services for tourism development is one of the way to mitigate different risks. It's provide basic standards of living and impacts of tourist satisfaction or different experience which is related with negative impacts of tourist destination or risks or different threats. Role of government organization for and private sectors in ensuring safety. You know that government one of the responsible organization to create safety, security, and risk management in tourism infrastructure, one of the key players. Secondly, tourism businesses, it's another organization to organize properly to provide tourist like services properly, which is related with safety and security. And also, finally, it's international organization because they create like standardization, certification, which is related with safety and security. Security measures in tourism infrastructure. It means that different security cameras nowadays, access control measures for in the airports, in different like public places, and also one of the way to be more competitiveness security. It's very important because tourists wants to get more secure, more safety places and tourist infrastructure. And technology and innovation, one of the way to solve risk management or risks of tourism infrastructure. And nowadays you know that artificial intelligence, chatbots and mobile apps and also biometric identification, it's one of the way to identify different tourists around the world, and also different applications which is convenient for mitigate risks of tourism industry. Now I would like to share with you which is related safety, security case studies. It's Thailand tsunami, you know, it's 2004. It was one of the big bad news in tourism industry. And secondly, COVID-19 pandemic. After pandemic situation, we integrated digital applications in tourism infrastructure. And terrorist attack in Paris, it was also another big boom news, breaks between tourists and Paris. It was very bad news. And also which is we should organize this such risks very properly. Best practice enhancing tourist safety is firstly clear signs in different languages, and also tourist policy services, which is really important. Emergency situations we can call to tourist policies, and also different applications or source signs, which is also one of the way to mitigate risks of tourism industry. In international guidelines and standards of tourism safety and security, one of the way it's international organization, as I said before, they're responsible, and all of them very important, all things in security and safety. In conclusion, in this lecture I introduced to you the importance of security, safety, and risk management, how it's integrated in tourism destination and tourism infrastructure, and you can identify different types of risks of tourism industry. I think today's lecture was helpful for you and understandable. Today's lecture reference, and I think you can read additional readings. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Bye bye.